Jazz.
Team TJ, hoy nos acompañan dos grandes personalidades dentro de la industria del cine. Ella es fotógrafa, directora, productora y cineasta con más de 25 años de experiencia. Ha trabajado con empresas como Vanity Fair, GQ, The Grab, Thimbo, entre muchas otras. Él es actor, director y productor reconocido por su participación en Southland, Parenthood, True Blood, Lucifer y recientemente Arcane. Démosles la bienvenida a Leslie and Kevin Alejandro.
Hello.
How are you guys?
We're doing excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We're very excited.
Thank you for having us.
Excited to have you here with us. It's a huge honor.
It is.
Same.
You are all in San Diego?
Right
Yeah.
now, yes. But we're usually in Tijuana, just on the other side of the border. Yeah.
Yeah, but right now we're in San Diego, her house. Okay, so let's start. Alejandro Films is made up by both of you and Dani de Jesus, who's Leslie's sister. What is it like working with family on this kind of projects? Is it harder, easier? How is it?
It's the worst experience you'll ever imagine. No. It's, you know what? It's beautiful, right? Because we do know each other so well, almost to the point where we can complete each other's
Sentence.
See what I mean? It actually makes for a really good working environment because we have similar sensitivities to issues that are going on in the world and in our lives and my wife is Filipino, I am Mexican, and we're very specific and want to encourage other filmmakers from our cultures to step forward and let their voices be heard. And it's good when everybody on the team has the same beliefs and the same ideas of how to tell stories.
You skipped ahead. We had a question about that. You read our minds.
Yeah.
To question number one.
So Adult Night is about a couple who's trying to rekindle that spark after having a child, and they end up in a very uncomfortable situation. How much of yourselves did you see when you read the script?
Give us 1 second, guys. We're just gonna, just take a quick rinse. Holy fucking shit. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
How much of ourselves?
Yeah.
Well, they were named Kevin and Leslie.
Well, no, to be honest, they were named after the actors. So it was really after Kevin and Leslie and Brand. So, we connected. I think we were attracted to it because there is that, the bond of a marriage. There is the trying to always rekindle the spark throughout your marriage, no matter what stage of the marriage you are in. But we actually were able to work with the writer to help massage the script to kind of make it feel a little bit more like a story that, that we could relate to as well. Isn't our story. We want to be clear because a lot of people ask us, but it wasn't our story, but definitely relatable to the heart of it and the heart of this couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the story was loosely based on an experience that a friend had. It wasn't as extreme, obviously, because we wanted to do it for entertainment purposes. But they did.
I was like,
into a situation. I know they stepped into a situation where they had to really question everything and be like, is this something we want to do? What are the consequences? And they were lucid enough and responsible enough to make the right choice for whatever for their relationship. And I think one of the things that I personally related to as well is the way that Leslie and I live our lives. One of the things we are a family, we do have a child. And one of the things that has really, we've been together for 20 years, married we just celebrated our 18-year wedding anniversary. Wow. And one of the things that we've always told each other, thank you.
Thank you.
We've always told each other was, after we had a child was the love for the kid is always going to be inevitable. So it's important for us to work on each other and work on our spark and work on keeping our communication alive, because no matter what, we're going to love the baby. And sometimes, with other relationships that I've seen throughout the past, I've seen that get lost. And that's when people, and so that was very, that really actually struck a chord with me with this script, because that was a couple who was trying to respark, who was trying to continue to keep their spark. Sure, it was a heightened comical sort of situation they got in, but it was still, at the end of the day, a story of communication and love and respect and trying to understand each other and understand that they're still together. They're still a team.
And that's, I think I was going to say, to piggyback on that, I think that was the core of it, is trying to figure out how to get through this as a team, whether they wanted to stay or whether they wanted to leave, and what does that look like, and setting those boundaries, which I talk a lot about when it comes to relationships, because I really believe in those boundaries, because nobody are mind readers, no matter how connected you feel. So being able to communicate those boundaries, I think, is very important.
Yeah. It made for a really amazing experience, because we are a couple and we're a team of directors. When we direct together, we're individual directors. When we do stuff together, it's Los Alejandros who do it, right? So that was a real sort of test for our relationship on that level too. Like, can we carry off each other's ideas and still maintain the story and still love each other at the end of the day?
Of course. I really like the short film. I wasn't expecting.
Neither was I, but I loved it. It was funny.
I mean, I've seen the poster a lot of times when you post on your social medias, but I was like, I don't know.
The whole time we were like, what could it possibly be about? And then we saw it and we're like, oh, okay.
I mean, the whole poster is made like something like.
But I wasn't expecting that.
What kind of ideas did you think it would be about?
I'm very curious.
Just based on the poster that you see back there. Like, what is?
I don't know. At first, I thought it was a play.
I thought that too.
When I first saw the poster, I was like, it will be a play or what? And then it was a short film. But I don't know. The story.
I mean, I guess I had a feeling where it was like, I guess you guys are a couple, and that's what I was thinking. And I'm like, maybe they're, I don't know, trying to explore something new. And
you weren't wrong.
There it was. I just wasn't expecting what the something new was. But it was funny. It was really good.
And the last scene.
The last scene was.
Luis, it's interesting that you say that you thought it was a play, because the process of putting it together was very play-like. We did rehearsals the way you would do a play, to where we had we it's independent, so we didn't have access to the location for the entire time until the day before we started shooting. So we had gone in there for a scout, measured everything, took a look at the room where we wanted everything, brought those notes home and taped it out in Leslie Ann's garage and put everything in there. And Leslie directed us for several days in a row, over and over and over again. And we came up with what we came up with, like you would do a play.
We blocked it, we rehearsed it a lot, which is not something that most films or TV shows like you're able to do. Some
because you're on time.
Yeah, and
so,
time is money.
And so. but because this was kind of like became our baby, and we had everyone's generosity with their time, we were able to set everything up and really look at what we needed and where things would go. And then after rehearsing it that much, then the day before the actual shoot, we rented the space for like an hour, and then just started. Then that's where we were able to set up our shot lists, and
that was our first like full rehearsal
to match it in the actual space. And so then, I mean, honestly, I can't. We did all of that in one day. We did it actually in less than 11 hours. I think we had a 12-hour window to for the space, and we we had scheduled it to have 11 hours, to have an hour to break down or to strike the whole set and, and load out. But we made it like almost an hour before like that we already called cut. So like we had it going, and there was a lot of crazy things that happened in between and
I can imagine.
Yeah, stuff that we, things that we had to go there was a lot going on. All the other actors that you see at the end of the scene, we met some of them that day. It's kind of yeah. I mean,
and we're like,
so
you guys are going to be really close.
So guys, this is the situation. This is gonna happen.
Pretty much. So there was a lot of interesting things that happened throughout the shoot, but I think because we were so prepared that we were able to knock it out and make our day. So.
Yeah, one of the big issues that we ran into was we had mismeasured the door, like the place didn't have a door, and the scene doesn't work if the scene doesn't work if you're not trapped in the bathroom. So we had the door. It was too big, and we had no saws, we had nothing. We were like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And some of my friends like hustled and threw the door in their truck, drove to Home Depot and asked if they would cut it to the right size, and they wouldn't do it because they said they can't. That's something that they're supposed to do. But then my friend, who happened to be British, said, "Oh, mate, that's right. I understand." They're like, "Wait, are you English? I like you. Okay, I'll do it for you." It was like,
What?
So funny.
it was, yeah. Yeah.
So funny.
And I want to talk about that because despite the short film being shot in one room, you successfully capture the attention of the audience. And I think it's thanks to the camera shots, the color palette, the image of the composition. Was it hard to bring it to life from the script?
I can do this.
We can do this so that we can do this thing, right? We can do this. We can fucking do this, right? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I have an idea.
I don't feel that it.
You know what I think? So, when it comes to color palette and all of that, this is Leslie's expertise. Like, because of her photography background and because of her the hundreds of shoots that she's produced. And she is connected with different kinds of locations that are permanent to be used for those kinds of things. And I think once she found the perfect setting, that setting became a character. So it was easy to manipulate the script around that particular new character, And
it was important. It was important for us to find a location that was going to play a character. So it had to be bold, and it had to match the energy of what these were going to. It had to feel intimidating. It had to feel out of it had to feel crazy. Like, what the hell is going on in this space, And when I found this place and we did the walkthrough, we looked at each other and we're like, this is it. This is the place. Because it was just it's bizarre. I've seen it in some photo shoots with other colleagues in other magazines. But to actually film, our film in there, it was just perfect. It was really perfect. And it's my thing. I love shooting with gels. Obviously, I even matched. I shot the poster as well, and I matched the gels to kind of match whatever we had, the tone of what was going on. And it actually lit itself almost. Our incredible DP, Nick Mahar, he was able to manipulate the light that was already there, but because fluorescents aren't, those kind of fluorescent or neons are not easy to film.
No. They're actually really difficult, especially because we were shooting on the Blackmagic Ursa Mini, and we didn't realize that the frequency between the neon lights, if it's too close to the camera shuts down. And we had that issue going on. Oh my gosh, the camera's not working. And somehow, by process of elimination and problem solving skills that Nick had, he figured it out. There's like, oh shoot, it's because we're too close to the frequency of whatever the neon lights are being put out. So we had to change our shots on the day so that we wouldn't get too close to the neons.
But he was amazing at just kind of bringing his, his own lighting as well, and knowing how to play off of the light that already existed. Yeah, no, he's brilliant. We love Nick. Nick is.
I have to write that down because I didn't know that.
None of us did.
And even Nick, and he's a seasoned, DP, and he didn't know either until that day. But to be fair, he's working on a lot bigger, budget and different cameras than what we had. So.
But we did 100% get really lucky with the group of people that were willing to jump on board. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is making movies, doing photo shoots, creating projects with people that we want to be around. It's our filmmaking family, and we have collected a group of people who have similar passions and are in it because they like either the story, they like the art, they want to create, and they want to have a great time doing it. There's no ego involved.
That's important to us because it's hard to run a set with a bunch of egomaniacs. I mean, we're going to end up doing that eventually, with bigger things that we go into, and it's fine. But for as long as we can control that situation, we're gonna.
Not if I'm the star of everything.
The biggest one here.
I don't need another one.
That's why he works so much, because everyone loves working with him because he's amazing.
Well, I just wanted to say that I loved the colors of the film. I loved them. They were so bright and fun. That's what really got me, the colors.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, and keeps the essence of the situation. Yeah, I if you can take some pictures of the short film, like, I don't know, it's
like
really amazing.
Like, I think every screenshot that would be taken from the short film would just be a good shot, because like all of the colors and the
framing.
Yes. Yeah. So the short film is in the comedy genre. What do you enjoy most about working in this genre?
Fucking tamales, turn around.
You sure?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we're just getting ready in here. We're getting ready to bring the thunder.
This is the first time that at this heightened level, I think it was the first time either of us had done anything like this. Kevin usually does a lot of drama. I think the big thing of originally when he had told his friend Derek Ray, who wrote the script, while we were living in Vancouver, he wanted to shoot something out in Vancouver. And he said, 2 people in 1 bathroom, go. And, Derek delivered with, such a funny script. And at first, Kevin was going to shoot, he wanted to direct it with Leslie Ann Brandt and her husband, Chris Payne Gilbert. And when we came back and it didn't get done back there, and we came back here, we kind of looked at it and was like, maybe you should do it, because we wanted people to see how funny Kevin is, because Kevin is so funny, but he does a lot of drama, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
I mean, you had your moments on Lucifer.
Yeah, funny moments.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But he still plays like a serious guy, right?
Yeah.
He plays a serious guy, and he plays a serious guy in comedic situations, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you though, like those comedic, if you look throughout the seasons, that didn't start happening until a little bit later in the next couple of seasons after the first one. And that's because the writers and producers and the relationships that we had as actors all together, everyone started to know each other a little bit more. And then they were like, oh, shoot, you can handle a comedic situation. So let's start writing towards that. And then it became more and more comedic along the road, because they knew that I could handle it. Whereas in the beginning, it's like, well, he's going to be the straight, in charge kind of douchebag guy.
Honestly, it was to have him play that role. It wasn't necessarily his, he didn't intend to do it. And then when we were like, we want to shoot something. We wanted, it was me, him, and Todd Sandler, who produced it with us.
And also edited it.
And edited it as well. We were like, let's do something together. Kevin's like, Derek wrote this script. Why don't we see what we can do with it? And we're like, yeah, I think Kevin should play it. And I think he killed it. He did such a great job.
And that's from the director, not the wife.
So it's clear that the response from the critics has been well received because of all the awards you have won. And now that it's on your YouTube channel, how has the response from the audience has been?
Overwhelmingly positive. I don't think we have had a single negative comment or a single thumbs down on it. A lot of people had been anticipating it, because we were posting the poster so much and the little snippets of the trailer. And, a lot of people throughout, couldn't either pay the money to buy the virtual film festival tickets and stuff like that. So it was already highly anticipated, I think. And so far, I've only heard very positive things about it.
Yeah, we feel pretty blessed and happy that we've only had positive responses about it,
Yeah,
so.
but honestly, that was like Leslie said, one of our first adventures together as Los Alejandros to do something in that heightened manner. But really, both of our passions are in the darker sort of psychological horror sort of feel.
So opposite.
It's completely, but those particular projects that Leslie has written and the ones that I'm working on, are at a higher level of budget, and it takes a little bit more to get those kinds of projects off the ground. I'm very much into like the Latin urban legends, so I'm working on a couple of things that deal with those sort of those genres, and Leslie's more of the psychological sort of fear that she's been writing.
We love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Of course, you're Mexican. You grew up scared of everything. All of those things. It's the same here.
I'm not scared of everything. He's scared of everything.
Yeah.
But by the way,
She ate
had
Halloween
to-
from breakfast.
I ate Halloween for breakfast. I had to get him to watch scary movies because he never liked them until we got together. And I'm like, nah, you have to watch them. If we're going to be together. It's what I love to do. I love scary movies. So, like, get it together.
are you better at it now? Do you like watching it now?
Yeah. It's because I like better, like, I don't really like ghost situations, possessions, demons.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
But I like serial killers and slasher movies.
You like the slasher movies?
Yeah, like
Yes.
Halloween. She got me into Halloween. What else? We saw Texas Massacre.
Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Scream movies, and we haven't watched Nightmare on Elm Street yet. So,
But I have.
but not all of them.
But not all of them. Yeah.
And you're gonna hate mine because mine's all about possession and demons.
I mean, I can watch them.
We're
I can
willing
watch
to
them.
watch
Yeah,
them.
because recently I watched The Exorcist
Barely. For
Barely.
the first time.
and ¿cómo se dice conjuro? The Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is so scary.
Mhm.
I love those. I know. I love all of those
Mhm.
kinds too. I know.
I actually really enjoyed them. I mean, I don't think I would watch them again. It's not really my thing, but they are really well made.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are really good.
Oh, that we loved psychologic movies like Get Out,
Oh, Get Out, yeah.
like
And
Us, When the Bow Breaks.
When the Bow Breaks.
Breaks,
That one's more like a thriller suspense.
Yeah,
but still.
That kind of movies too.
Okay.
You were gonna say something?
I can't remember.
Sorry. Okay, so just one last question because we're kind of running out of time. Oh, two more questions, right?
Two more
To
questions.
end the interview. So, like you mentioned, Kevin, you're Mexican and Leslie, you're Filipino. What does it mean to you guys to see all of the diversity with people of color in the film industry in the last few years?
I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it should have always been that way. I think there's still a lot I think the door has been opened, and I think it's been opened to a certain extent. And I still think that we need to push it open even further. And with any culture, I mean, just as a human being who has overcome any sort of diversity or overcome any sort of situation, has a story to tell. And I think, you know, my opinion, because I am Mexican, I relate to a lot of the way I was brought up and a lot of the things that I feared and a lot of the things that I had to overcome personally. And there's not enough of those stories out there. And one of the reasons I love to do this is to encourage people like me to say, we're the same. And if I can open a door for you, just walk in and we can do it together. You know?
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that there is definitely, there's a lot more hype in diversity programs and then there is actually action taken for it. That's my opinion. I feel that, you know, you look up and at all the billboards and scroll through all the streaming stuff. And I mean, Netflix is a little different. I know they're playing a lot more, you know, films and TV shows that are, you know, from Latinos and also, you know, Asians. You know, it's weird to see Filipino films that are on there too, because you can never find that usually. But most of the time, everyone is still white. So like, you know, I think that we are more than sub characters. I think that we can be the main characters of our own stories. And I feel that, especially for, you know, like say for instance, Mexican Americans, because, you know, we grew up on a lot of Mexican American shows, you know, like George Lopez or whatnot. But, you know, I feel like when it comes to different cultures, everybody has to start with the stereotypes of your culture. So all these shows that come out first is usually, what is the stereotype of your culture?
Yeah.
And Mexicans have been doing it for a very long time. And I still feel that they're still pigeonholed in this, let me show you the stereotypes of them, as opposed to showing like we're just regular people with regular stories in our own culture too. And I'd like to see a lot more of that. I did love Gentefied. I love that felt a little bit more. I think that felt a lot more grounded, you know, like our stories are grounded too. It doesn't have to be these, we're not all these crazy heightened characters all the time. Filipinos are starting to do that now. We're starting to kind of come in a little bit. Joe Coy has definitely paved the way for Filipinos, Filipino Americans at least, and telling those stories. But again, you know, like the comedies are kind of off of our tropes and stereotypes, you know, and it's fine. Whatever is gonna get those stories out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I am looking forward to, because I've been Filipino American my whole life. I was born and raised here. I've never even been to the Philippines. I know that's terrible. But so I've been waiting to see, you know, myself relate to other people and be represented on screen, because I've grown up with film and television my entire life. So it's hard when you feel like you've been waiting for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, there's a scratch on the surface. I just feel that there's a lot more to do, and a lot has to do with getting more of our people in the executive sides of it, in the positions of it. I know that we all want to be creatives too, but we have to be the decision makers as well. We do, and that's why we started Alejandro Films too, so that we can have that control.
That you're actually, Kevin, you're actually going to work with Eugenio Derbez and Eva Longoria in a project, right?
And I've already done it. We've shot, we just finished the film about a month ago, and I think she just had a picture lock a couple of weeks ago. It's directed by H. Alberto, who's Latina trans woman, who she took this script called Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe, was so affected by it and turned it into a screenplay, and got approval from Lin-Manuel Miranda, who did the audiobook for it. Len is also part of this project. And you know, I played Eva's husband in it. We're one of the parents of Aristotle and of Dante. of the two children, and it's a beautiful love story. You know, it's a story. It's a coming of age story between two boys from different walks of life, but of the same culture, and fall in love during the 80s when. You know,
They're Mexican, right?
Yeah, and they're Mexican within, and I can specifically remember growing up during that time and that not being something that's very accepted within our culture, you know.
Yeah.
So it was very ahead of its time, and it's still so relevant, and it's a beautiful story, and I can't wait for people to see it because H, I think, handled it with such great pride and responsibility.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I can't wait to see it now. Hopefully we get to interview you when it comes out so we could talk more about it.
100%.
Our last question is, what advice would you give to those couples who are going through losing the spark in their relationship?
The advice that I would give is to be able to step back, close off the rest of the world, go someplace where it's just the two of you, and try to remember why it is you fell in love with each other and what it is you need to do to get back to that. One small thing, if it's a piece of candy it's the taste that takes you back to that moment. If it's the smell of food, if it's a massage, whatever it is, in those beginning days, is take yourself back to that moment and try to feel that again.
I also, I love that, by the way. I also feel that people change. Individuals change when throughout the relationship, and the hard part is when the other person can't change with you or cannot accept those changes, right, and fight against those changes. So I always feel that checking in with each other to make sure, okay, where are we now? What is it that we need now? Because 100% I'm not the same person that you met when. I mean, there's a lot of me that are still there. There's a lot of him that is still there, but we're not the same kids that we met 20 years ago.
I mean, I am. I don't change. I don't evolve.
I don't know what she's talking about.
He's such a different person. But yeah, it's kind of realizing and understanding that those changes are important to the person, and being able to accept those changes with each other, because you can't always understand why they are the way they are, but if you can work on accepting each other in those changes and understanding what the other person needs to go through those changes and do it together, then I think that you'll have a really good shot at continuing on.
Yeah, and I think it's so necessary to keep that communication present and out loud, because there's too much to be misconstrued with guessing what the other person is feeling or guessing what the other person desires or needs. You can't do that. You have to be open and trustful enough to say, I'm not feeling it right now, man, and this is why, or I don't know why. Can you help me figure that out? You know, and then it's up to you. It's a decision between the two of you as to whether or not you want to take that journey of growth together.
And especially in our culture, Filipinos and Mexicans are very much alike. I watched George Lopez, you know, all my life and could laugh at every single joke because it was so relatable, because it's almost exactly like how I grew up too, you know, and vice versa with him and Joe Coy, you know.
Yeah.
So we have this culture that doesn't necessarily want to communicate things, that just kind of brushes things under the rug. And we don't want to do that because we don't want that resentment to build up, because then you get to a point that you just are there and you love each other because you've loved each other so much, but that there's not that connection. I mean, there's a love connection and time connection, but I don't know. I think especially Kevin and I, we always want to dig deeper into, you know, we call each other our twin flame, and want to always make sure that fire is blazing, you know.
I love that. We recently celebrated our 5-year anniversary, and we're getting married in 2 weeks.
What?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do I need to prepare a best man speech, or what's going on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
So we're going to take that advice with us.
Yeah.
And definitely keep it close to our hearts.
Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. So we've reached the end of the interview, because I know, Kevin, you have to leave. Hopefully we can schedule another one so we could play that little game that we wanted to play.
I would love to, yes. I'm so
But
sorry.
it was so nice to have you both here. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, it really does. It was amazing, and
We're so happy we got to talk about
Great
adult
time
life.
too. This was a lot of fun, and we were very easy to talk to. I think because we're the same gente, we're the same people. So, but one thing you can look out for is I'm in negotiations right now for a pretty cool job that I can't really super talk about or announce just yet. But there's something coming down the pipeline where I will be representing our culture in a stature of leadership, and I think it'll be a really awesome experience all the way around.
perfect. So we're gonna wait for that so we can talk about it.
And whenever you guys
Yes.
whenever you guys want to come back and do another interview for whatever project you guys are doing, we are more than happy. The doors are wide open to you guys.
Thank
Great.
you.
Same here.
Thank
If you ever hear of anything that you guys want to talk about on with us as well, you have our information now. So
Of
Thank you so
course.
much.
Well, thank you,
Thank you
so
so much.
much for being here.
Maybe if you guys are in LA.
we are in LA. Yeah.
Our
Yeah,
office is in Santa Monica.
Okay,
Okay.
we're really close. Yeah.
So maybe one day we could do an in-person interview.
I know.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Great.
Love to.
Perfect. Perfect.
Well, once again, thank you.
I miss Tijuana. It's been a while since we've been there.
Yeah, we'll do it there.
I know, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
And we'll go get tacos.
Yes.
Yes.
Before we go, you gotta meet the mystery woman, the third part of our team.
The alam.
Okay.
This is
She's so mad.
we're in our production office right now. She hates me. She hates me right now.
She's so mad. This is Danny the Jesus.
This is
Danny?
So you can put a face to
Hi,
it.
Oh, it's so nice to see your faces as well because I've been emailing with you. So yes.
Look at this. How could you say no to our projects?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
it's so lovely
Look
to
at
see
that.
your faces.
It was so good to meet you guys, and thank
Nice
you
to
again.
meet
You too.
It's
Thank you
nice
so
to meet
much.
you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Pues Team TJ, espero que hayan disfrutado mucho la entrevista y los invitamos a todos aquellos que no han visto el short film de Adult Night, lo pueden encontrar en el canal de YouTube de Alejandro Films, lo vamos a dejar también por aquí en la descripción para que no se lo pierdan, la verdad es que está buenísimo y pues estén muy pendientes de todo el contenido que se viene en el programa porque vienen cosas muy buenas, no podemos decir todavía qué, es una sorpresa, pero nosotros estamos súper entusiasmados, muy contentos y pues nada, nos vemos, adiós Team TJ.